things live, and it's pretty exciting for two reasons. One, the fact that we're all here, but that's not exactly one of the two reasons. But it is exciting that we're all here. Anybody who's here now, anybody who ends up showing up, anybody who watches this after the live itself is done. The only thing that sucks if you watch this after the live itself is going is you have to watch ads. During the live itself, I never put ads on. I think it cheapens the live experience. But when they put this out for everybody else after the live ends, it makes it public. It does push it through the algorithm better because YouTube gets a little portion by sharing some advertising. So the two reasons are, one, XRP's done exactly what we want to see. And I know there's going to be some people coming on here and saying, Tom, is there a play to be made? I'm a leverage trader. I'm a spot trader. Yada, 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 yada. Maybe. I would say the play here right now is if you're in a position, let's just say you're in a short trade here, not a short for it to go down. I'm talking about a short-term trade. If I'm going to micro out, whether that's a leverage or whether that's a spot trade, you would definitely have a plateau now at $2.31.7. And if it broke that, goodbye. No matter what, if it's a short-term trade, goodbye, because this could go horribly wrong. Preferably what you would want to do, and I know it's tempting to do it, you want to get back above this little area just above us. And yes, my projection is that it was going to make something like this, and this would be the best way to do it. I know, we talked about this earlier. Kind of following that pretty nicely. Honestly. So let's see if now we get to kick up the back test, and then what would end up happening is, again, this, like we've been trying to emphasize it. We can do something like this because we could be in a bullish megaphone. I've considered that. Like looking at this more instead of saying like a broadening, I could say this is like a megaphone pattern, I suppose. Especially if it got rejected at 268, then came back down to like $1.99. But the more I start to play with the simulation, and it's my own simulation, and I have a whole bunch of charts, but you start to go and you're like, if we just start the trend, that almost looks like maybe it is a megaphone. I don't know. It's interesting when you start looking at it and start playing around with this a little bit. But I don't know. It's to the eye of the beholder, I suppose. Marco, welcome back into Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. I'll be darned. You just made me the happiest person in the world today about that. I can't believe it. Welcome back to the family, Marco. Make me so happy. If you're not in Tom's Army yet, just look at your membership area and it'll have a link to the Telegram. We have 498 members in there. 2 more to 500. It's a special community. A lot of different chat areas. Oh, and I'm not talking about to get your jollies off. This is for your mind. This is for your mind. So, and the second bit of good news is it's our second annual Winning Wednesdays. Welcome back to the fold, right? Winning Wednesdays. We've got, I think it's a transcendence, honestly, with what we're doing. But it'll be XDC again, my $250 a week in XDC until it gets over 10 cents. Could be doing this a while. Might be doing it a short time. Nobody can really know. I'm up over 200,000 tokens. The only way, and this is even, I may not even do it. The only way that I would sell out of XDC is if for whatever reason it comes all the way down here. Proves me it's going to break it and it's going to come down here. Okay? Because I'm not holding it from 4.7 to 2.7. Well, Tom, why would you hold it from 5.8 to 4.7? It's a big difference. If you don't understand, it's just a big difference. And I give you the grace because it's not even your fault. You wouldn't even know. If you don't understand like the charts and you seeing it in a certain way, it's not even your fault why you would ask that question. Take it from me. That's a big, 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 big problem. And that wouldn't just be for XDC. If XDC came down and did one of these and it fell out of here and went, well, if XDC fell 44% from that point, What do you think happened to the market? And they can talk about the ruse of a rate hike all they want next month. They're not hiking rates. I mean, if they hike rates, I'm going to come here and I'm going to laugh. But I doubt. I don't care what the 18% or 20%, because they're trying to hype it up like he's being hawkish. I'm telling you right now. They're not going to ending quantitative tightening and starting to print money after December 1st and simultaneously going to do a rate hike. So the market is simultaneously right now actually factoring in the possibility of a rate hike right now. That's why we're continuously going down since that. I see something different here. Like, look at XDC. I see it in a lot of things. The cool thing about XDC is it's done us a favor here. Do you see what it did? I'll show you in a second. Good evening. And you better hit that like button so you can hit that like button. 50% of you have hit that like button. Imagine if I was getting 50% effort, but I'm not here to judge. The only person who can judge us is the Almighty God himself. Good evening. 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I like it. Gotta remember not to be so loud because my son's about to go to sleep. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Mr. Y says roll tide. I believe Alabama was number 4 in the college football playoff rankings yesterday. Very interesting. Very interesting. I was laughing when a lot of people were like, oh, Kellen DeBoer is a bad coach. It's like, oh, I would not say that. And now look what happened. Anyhow, I mean, bottom reasserts itself, trying to break out. If it's early, got a little bit of support there. But the point is we got a big bottom, and in the RSI, I don't really care about the 2 hour right now. We want to see it in a higher perspective, but 4 hour really massively oversold, double bottom. Pretty ripe for a reversal. Inverse head and shoulder, as you can see. The woman's ovaries are there. Very special indeed. But that's why it's looked at in the bullish scenario. When you get the ball pattern, the nutsack pattern we like to call it, it's very bearish. This is something different. We've got the, let's just say, the beauty of the woman instead of the hideousness of the man. So this is a good sign right now. Now, if it comes down and creates the balls, we got a problem. But we haven't done that yet. We're in good shape right now. If you're part of the audience, you know. If you're not, well, I'm sure you'll understand in one of these lives that I do. The daily. That's where it gets you like, ooh. Daily's the part with XDC that it's like, leave something to be desired, but the weekly, like, okay, now we're playing ball. Weekly's massively oversold. Weekly, that, it could be perceived a couple different ways in the weekly. The monthly, again, can be perceived in a lot of different ways here. But I choose to look at it as the fact that we're bottoming out instead of breaking down. And that this, remember that little inverse head and shoulders we talked about in the very small time frame? I like to believe they're emulating something larger. And now if this is just emulating that now, max capacity was coming down somewhere around 4.2 cents. Huh. Let's see. We came very close, but we didn't come close enough. So let's get rid of this real quick so we can see exactly where it came, because I know I marked it for a reason. There's a reason I leave this down here. How much stuff did I put here? I don't know what I'm deleting, but this is probably a lot of stuff on this chart that we had out there. That's okay. We can start over. Which could possibly in the same spot. Okay. So we came down to 4.9. I mean, that's, to me, that's really nice. Because then you come back here and then you created this here. I don't know. It created this exact all-time. Can you imagine? Just for a moment. We're just going to do some very jank. Some very uninnovative even. Say, that doesn't look very hard. I could do that. And you can. See? You could. You just need to know how. So we're going to measure this. You can't measure way up here. We didn't come all the way up there. So if you end up looking at this not in the monthly, you're going to find where this goes across. And we're going to end up measuring, and I'll show you exactly how it's going to get done. But it's in the monthly, but this right here. See how it leveled off? There's your cup. Well, it's not even a cup, but I mean, I guess it is a cup and handle, but it is also an inverse head and shoulders, and you got the double-sided teacup. Pour me out one way, pour me out. But if you just think about it that way, you could, or maybe it's a sailboat or I don't know, a dragon, a double-sided dragon, maybe the dragon head and a tail. But these are the important things. I know people leave when I talk and show this kind of stuff. Hey, it's not XRP. Well, no, it's not XRP. But believe it or not, this is an opportunity and a half that goes very unnoticed. I can't wait until, what is it? November, and I don't make predictions. November of 25 for this set up with the amount of time it did. Looking at the projection, I don't personally believe it's going to take until 2030 and beyond to finish this out. I don't. If it goes how it should, I can't wait for me to be sitting here going, I know I'm going to be turning 44 next month, but do you guys remember when we were buying XDC on Winning Wednesdays for 5.7 cents, and we felt like we were telling people, hey, this is like XRP at 20 or 57 cents or so. But do you just remember when we were doing this? And now it'll be the next one. We'll be like, this is the other one that we've been talking. And it's always going to have the next parallel point. Last time we did this, and XDC was at the exact price point. We were doing H bar at 5.2, 4.7, 4. Remember the Winning Wednesdays? Then we went from H bar. Then we went to XDC, and actually it wasn't that price because we were buying it at 2.9. I know you guys remember. And then we went to, I believe, Algo. And then we went to XLM. And then I don't remember if we went to another one because then we started to have the run. But we were doing it $50 a week, literally, for months. The summer of 23. And I know it was the summer of 23 because I had an accident in the summer of 23. Still didn't miss a day, but that's when I got cut off by the car when I was riding my electric bike, doing about 20. Broke a few bones, hit my orbital bone. It was a big mess. But haven't rode the bike since. I walk. But that's the same thing we're doing now. And now I look at XDC like, oh my God. My God. I feel like I'm looking at XRP all over again. I can't even explain it. Like, if you missed out on XRP and you wanted a second, oh my goodness. Then you start looking at it and you're like, well, hey, even if I do this modestly, okay, well, we have the cup. We're going to go to the base. We could go here. We can go here. But I'm going to go through the middle, so it's straight up and down, and then people will be like, well, it goes through it. Fine, we'll go over here, and we'll go not through anything, see? Point of breakout. I mean, and this gives you a modest view, and it's just, I don't even think this is giving it the proper respect, but think of where we're at right now. The moment this actually plays out, modestly, I mean, even if we're talking about this in a year and a half, 5 months, whatever, and we're saying, hey, XDC's trading between 22 and 27 and 29 and 20 and 30. Do you know how different that is than XDC trading between 5 and 7 and 10 and 4 and 7 and 5 and 9 It's a huge freaking difference. I mean, it's a huge freaking difference. It's just, oh man, it is, because now you're getting, because if it's, think about it, if it's at 27 cents, and yeah, it's still, oh, Tom, it's only 10,000 tokens are still $2,700. I give you that. I give you that. But right now, 100,000 tokens, you're paying about, now you got to, you're just dropping it down. It's just, oh, it's so different. I just feel like, I just feel like with some of these, I'm talking the same. I feel the same sense of urgency to try to get people to understand with certain ones. XDC is certainly one of them. IOTA is certainly one of them. Outgrow to me is certainly one of them. XLM is definitely on the board. VeChain had some interesting stuff come out with it. Oh, VeChain, and so did a lot of others. I just don't know if I want to talk about it. And then Jorge, of course, shares it in the Telegram. So it's like gun to my head now. So it's like now I'll be expected to talk about it. Very trusted mod, that Jorge. Good guy. Good guy. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I would interrupt myself by doing the intro, but I can't even go to that because I can't do the intro because I've already taken that card out. Let's see. Where did he share that earlier? I got so many damn things that I watch and read and do and blah, blah, blah. Oh, great. What is this? What does this mean for you? Log in with biometrics using keys derived directly from your blah, 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 blah. It's hard, but I keep saying blah, 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 stop. I don't like the old biometrics thing. Gives me the creeps, the heebie-jeebies. Okay. Where the hell did he share this? Because I want to read Jorge's. He took the time to share it. No reason for me to look it up. Jorge. Are you in here this evening? No. Maybe. Anybody know his section that's in the Telegram where he actually shared that? I am drawing a blank. Well, maybe. The robots. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. But let's see. How's the best way to put this? Okay, I got an idea. Let's see what.
This is a great question that touches on two distinct and complex areas: cryptography and blockchain security, which can sometimes
What the hell is this?
discussed together. The context of Cryptos 510 and others seems to be referencing a combination of one. That's an excellent clarification. Since you mentioned VCHAIN previously, you are very likely referring to VeChain, VET, one of the leading enterprise-focused. That is a very crucial distinction. When a cryptocurrency is stolen, it is almost always due to a breach in the wallet or platform security, and not the
Yes.
underlying blockchain
Aha.
technology. That is a critical question, and it allows us to move from the general concept of hacking to the specific technical feature that allows an entity on VeChain, or any advanced blockchain, to intervene. The concept of freezing authority. Based on recent security reports, the hidden code you are referring to is likely the fund freezing functionality that is deliberately included in the code of enterprise-focused blockchains like VeChain. Here is the elaboration on that story. The hidden code story. Hard-coded code that can make disappear is not a vulnerability in the sense of a hacker exploit, but rather a deliberately included feature of centralized control designed to protect the ecosystem. This capability is often described as hard-coded freezing.
I'm going to have to stop you right. Good evening, everyone. With regulation comes the bend me over procedure. You're listening to it right now. Give me a mother. This sounds just like we need to be able to see and hear everything you do in the name of security and safety. I mean, this doesn't sound good. Does this sound good? I'll certainly tell you this much. I don't think VeChain's on the list of to have in the long-term bag right now. But it's not just VeChain.
That's an insightful follow-up. The category of tokens that exhibit this freezing or blacklisting capability generally includes those that prioritize enterprise/regulatory compliance and centralized control over pure decentralization. This feature is typically found in two main groups of digital assets.
You've got blockchain, BNB, Aptos, SU. No one can freeze your funds unless they steal your private keys. So, and think about it. Hold on. Think about this. This is exactly this is a problem. This is how they backdoor into your stuff. We don't want this. No. It's oh, no. It's like God, it pisses me off. And I'm going to stop talking about that before everybody leaves. But I can't own VeChain anymore. I told you guys, I seen this before. I have heard about this, and it's like, I don't know. That's not the whole list of blockchain. That's not the whole list. There's more, but those are the ones that easily come up. Is XRP it can't be under that, even though I believe XRP is probably more centralized than not. But it's who the frick really knows. But that one hits hard. You know why? Because it's like, what means won't they go to? Klaus Schwab can say that all he wants, my friend Stanley. But if you know, you know. Oh, I already know the clawback, and don't even get me started on that, Crypto Cuda. That's something that's already pisses me off. I talked about that the day it happened. They allowed that hook for the clawbacks. So my blood pressure. Question. While I'm trying to get my my brain to slow down so that I don't get irritated because I don't want to get mad. Remember, happiness. Was this beneficial at all earlier? You get to sit here for 52 seconds as I drink some water, and you tell me if this was beneficial. Yeah, so it was just a very simple video. But it really just shows you every single little setup we have in real time. You go from that, then you seen how it went. But it shows, so basically what it's showing you, and this is what you can see deeper within the lives, why it's important. If you watch the lives and the content, you know exactly what I was showing you. I was bringing it down into the short scale. Recognize? This is in the channel. Or actually, it could even be like a flag here set up maybe. But this would be, assuming we got rejected at 255, And this would be if the inverse pattern breaks down, it'd come down to $1.99. Be buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance, buy support. So until the channel breaks in one way or the other. Then you've got this one where this is if the inverse head and shoulders breaks out. And once again, it's almost like a megaphone pattern, I suppose. This would be where if it did something like this, I'd say, okay, maybe we are in a megaphone. In a bullish megaphone or bearish, I believe you need 3 hits on each side. So you can't just call it a megaphone. So the only one that technically can break that rule, and I don't know why, I don't make the freaking rules, but the only one that you can make the rules and say that, so I was reading the thing, but a broadening wedge, you can get 2 hits on each side. So why wouldn't I take a long here if I called it? I'm not saying I'm not going to. What I'm saying is if I'm waiting for it and it's at $2.36.6, if I'm riding at the, just hear me out. If I'm riding at the 265, you can look at this one of 2 ways. You can try to get ahead of it before it gets back over this key area. And because we've established this already, we're not just doing it. This is looking at it from this perspective. It bounces back over, back test. It gets up to that 265. Now, whether it gets rejected or not and comes back down has nothing to do with this one. It has a further move up. But right now in the moment, this is the most important chart right now, especially if we break out, especially if you're looking at this in almost the inception way. So 2 reasons why I wouldn't, because you're saying long, which means you're talking leverage trade right now, obviously. But the reason I wouldn't do it yet, I haven't got validation. Who wants to open up a 10, 20x trade with no validation? I don't. If I'm going to make the money on the move, it don't matter if I open it at 236 or I remember the last one. I didn't open it at, even though I thought it was going to go down to 219 and 216. Where did I open it? 221 after the up, down, back up, back around. I want to make it work because it's easy to lose money in these. They're too easy. Too many fake outs happen. So I want to see it earn it. Yes, could be the reversal. Yes, boom, boom, boom. Tap, down, tap. And I know also we were talking about this in the live earlier that if it was going to come down and we were going to create a right one to make this inversion, which it's done now. So yes, it's doing everything I want to see. Now the only thing it needs to do is get up over here and hold 239. So, I mean, in theory, if this plays out properly, let's just say we're calling it from 239. 239. Let's just 260. We'll be conservative. 260 point. That's 10.67%. If I take a 20x trade and it gets me 240%, 270%, or a 10x and it gets me 167, do I really care if I take it out at 239 or if I get it out at 236 or if I pull the bottom at 230? No, I'd rather make sure, because what can happen here is this can be the artificial fake out that happens a lot of times, especially when you get these freaking volatile movements here. Can I just show you an example? So what could happen here, and I don't know if it's happening, but what could happen, I'm not saying it is, but what could happen, remember what could. We've talked about all these other scenarios. Let's talk about one more. This sets up the base. Seems like the head, but really this ends up being the start of the shoulder, and I'll explain myself in a second. So this gets rejected here. It's a fake out, and it comes down one more level. Then all of a sudden it comes up. Well, this ends up doing this, and you're like, well, what the hell is this? Well, that ends up being, so imagine you've got the down, around, back around, up, back down to a new layer, doing the same thing. Oh, back up. But what's the point? Why does it have to do all of this? You know, just to keep doing it. Now you got to go up again if you try to do this, but we don't have to go around, so just start. That's going to make it even more confusing. Let me just delete some of this. Even though I don't really want to delete this chart, let's go to the other one. I'll delete some of that stuff in a sec. But all right, see this empty chart. This will be a lot easier to explain it. That's going to get so confusing with all those lines. So basically, it's created this little structure. It comes around, and yeah, it looks like a shoulder. Maybe it comes into a head, another shoulder, and it makes it obvious. But what I'm saying is, what if this is kind of the start of something here, comes down, and all of a sudden this is rejected. This says, you know what? I don't have enough here. It's too weak. If it comes down to the next layer, let's just say maybe it does come down to the 222, the 220. Maybe it doesn't even come down that far. Maybe it comes down to, I don't know, 228. Comes into here, comes back up, comes into here. Then you look and you're like, well, what was the point of this layer? Well, it's because when you break out and do this, it ends up creating a pretty interesting, like, hey, now you start talking. Remember, we have our elbow in the sand, down into the head. We're just kind of chilling, our arms out. Remember the bend of the shoulder? So you got the head, bend to the left shoulder, out to the arm, hands expressed, right? Down to the head, out to the shoulder, up to the back, to the shoulder. You know, so it's you start to flex it out, and then you start to go out. But then you start going from there, and then you start building it out instead of the head and shoulders. And then you're like, well, hey, maybe that is how we get back up into that range. I don't know. That's how my brain works. So I try to build it out. So my mind's always like, you better get this validation, because if you can think it, it can happen. So to me, it's you're more likely to not fall through if you get that validation. Maybe I've confused you all more than I should have, but based on the fact that there's more of you in here than when I started talking about that, I haven't scared you away, and maybe it made somewhat sense. I don't know. But I got to fix that other chart because it's, oh boy. Now it just looks like a sad face. Look at that. What, it was so bad? Got some eyebrows in there. So bad that it's sad. Oh, maybe it's happy. Maybe it's like a snail. Never mind. Could be happy if you use that as the smiley face. Maybe a little fish. Take his eyes away. Sorry about that. Sorry, we're already confused enough. We don't need to put something else in here. I think it just elevates and enhances everything that we're talking about. I like talking like this. I like expressing it. I like the questions. Juice, yeah, Scarlett is back to feeling great. She had pneumonia. Some of you know she's doing good again. She's back to normal. T, he's taking he's got half day today and tomorrow. We had his conferences at school, which he did freaking great, like overachieving. You know, he does the best he can do for, you know, he's special needs and autistic, and he's nonverbal, which makes it the hardest for him. And maybe not for him, but for others. But they said that literally he's never caused a problem. He pays attention, he follows directions, he's very kind and sweet, and he's learning so much. And they said all the kids love him and they look out for him. And they said that because they just said he's the sweetest little boy, and that he's always positive, he's always laughing, he's always, you know, he's such a loving heart, and you know, unique. And we get told it all the time with him, and it's kind of like what they used to tell my mom about me. I feel like I'm listening about myself. He inhibits a lot of things I do, and if I fail at a lot of things in this life, that's for our maker to judge. At least our maker will see the purity in my heart. So that's the one thing he has going for him too. He's got a very pure heart and a very loving and giving heart. So he got all of that good. He got a lot of good news. A lot of good news. And yeah, they just overwhelming good stuff, like overwhelming, because he's come a long way. And then they said that girl Anna's obsessed with him, is basically not basically, that's what his teacher said. But they said that they all look out for him, and they said when they're on the playground that the kids love it because he likes when they chase after him and he laughs so hard, and he says they all laugh and they all make sure he's doing okay. So I have high hopes that he's going to be okay going through with all of them. But yeah, he did not want to miss school this week. Like, he was not happy about it. He doesn't have school Friday and 2 half days, so that definitely helped because of conferences. But yeah, he's doing better. His fever broke. He hasn't had one today. Well, I mean, it broke overnight, so technically I guess it was today still. And And he sounds like he's getting better. It never got into his chest. He was just very stuffy and things like that. But and they said that his behavior has, they don't know what happened, but like a month and a half ago or so, that his behavior all changed. He stopped doing like his, he would like do his and all that constantly in school, and like his mumbling, and they said all that stopped, and he got very, very focused and is very attentive, and it just whole demeanor changed. And all I can think is we stopped giving him the poly V that they were telling us to give him for all of his vitamins and stuff, because he gets fed through a G tube in his stomach. Even though he still eats some by mouth, it's just his main nutrients. But then we started looking into it, and I'm very deep with nutrition, so it turned out that all of these ingredients in the poly V are artificial herbs and stuff. They're not even herbs; they're chemically enhanced to imitate. And I'm like, well, what? So I brought it up to the doctor. I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like, what? So they're like, oh, well, this is just the easiest way. And it's like, I don't care if it's easy. So we found something that was actually the herbs. Everything's the same that he's supposed to get. And then there's some extra things too, good things. But it's got equal to, if not more, but it's the actual herb. It's not subsidized with some pharmaceutical nonsense. And it's been a huge difference. Like, we can, even when he's sick right now, he's still energetic, and just something's changed, and it's a good thing to see. So the short answer is he's doing great. The long answer is, he's still trying to kick this well, it's going around everywhere, even everywhere in his school, unfortunately, but the nasal congestion and that kind of stuff. So yes, we're gonna do winning Wednesdays, absolutely. We were just trying to swing around and get to some of these questions. Let's see. Shane, I'm all in XRP, baby XRP, XLM, XCCH per quant. If we go in a bear market, I'm more than happy to hold my assets and acquire more of you. Hey, right now, Shane, I love that. We're oversold in the weekly in every single one of those assets. And it's not even in a small way. We're getting there in a pretty big way, to be honest with you. Yeah, no, Juicy hates missing school. And thanks for being in town zone for over your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. He actually grabbed his braces a few times to go to school. No, Scotty trades, and he's MQ and MQT in the Telegram. But Scotty, and thanks for being in town over your second month with Best Hours Crypto News and a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. He was referring to, because I said if I was to take a trade here, I would want to see it validate, even though I think, it's the potential's here right now, but I want to see it validate, over the 239 level, even though you could get in technically earlier. You got the bottom set up here. Could be the shoulder head back up. I just like to see the validation, because I still think this is valid until it's not. So this is valid until it's not. And this is exactly the play that I was talking about. You get out of the other one and you get into this one. So that's what they're referring to. But yeah, that's my reasoning. Is it still possible to buy ALX 2049 tokens in the I don't even know what the hell that shit is. Honestly, if I didn't know any better, is this some bullshit, Herman? Are you Pee Wee Herman? Are you Tom Herman? Famous Houston coach, very hated Texas coach. Are you a good Herman or a bad Herman? Are you Dick Herman or good Herman? It absolutely is going to Donald Duck. I like Donald Duck. But yeah, I've said this myself. I think that it's the single biggest Ponzi scheme that's going to be used to bring down all of finance, basically, all of business. Oh, I believe it. Believe it. Believe it. Herman. It gives me no pleasure to do this, but I'm sorry, Herman, but nobody wants that crap. You got to go. There's no second chances. You just got to go. I apologize. The left nut told the right nut to do it, and you are the right nut. And I'm not talking about balls or the grotesques. See what I did there upon? He's the right nut. I'm just kidding. And I'm looking to the right of me. Nah, it's a funny joke to me. Nobody else can see it. So what the hell am I talking about? Aurelia. Oh, look. Now we got some more. I knew it. We got the scammers in the house now. See, I told you this is what happens. This is how I know. Because now look, if every time I block, I'll splice into a new account. Watch what happens. This is what sucks. Because this is what sucks. This is why when you see comments in the chat, you just can't keep up because it's the same spliced account that'll just, I told you with AI they can just, and then another person will come in saying this because it's the same damn one. It's interesting. It's interesting. So what do you guys think? Bullish or bearish right now? Do you think we're actually going to play out here? As we discuss this, I'm going to do my weekly purchase here as we're already 40 minutes in of XDC, $250 a week. Right now I stand at, until we get to 10 cents, remember, I stand at, let's see how many XDC I have. I have 200,704 XDC on Kraken, so I have 200,704 XDC, 50,000 plus algo, 20,000 XLM, 210,160 stronghold, which is SHX, and $254 in tether that is now going in to XDC. So XDC, we are going to see how many we can get this evening. The last time we bought, it was at 0.52. Okay, so we're going to be paying a little bit more this week. No doubt about it. That kind of sucks. Well, you know, every week's a little bit different. Every week's going to be different. That's the beauty of buying it over time. Oh, yeah, I got to set this so that it's, because they have USDC, USD, and all this other stuff in here that you can buy stuff on. So just make sure it's set up the way you want. But yeah, so let me know if you've been buying XDC, even if it's not with me. If you still buy it, if you have a plan for it. So I'm trying to get to an extraordinary set of holdings, not just in one day, but so basically we'll see what this fills for. So it filled at 05788. Hey, I put it that it could fill up to 591. So I give it credit for not making it fill at the very top. So it was 4,376.79 XDC approximately is what it looks like. So now I have 205,071.2044 XDC. If anybody wants to keep track of that. And right now, my actual unrealized P&L right now, it's not much. It's like 11%, 10.6%. So it hasn't done much. It hasn't done much on this time around. Anyhow, I want to see a break of approximately 258 above the SSL for a bigger overall. Absolutely, Scotty Trades. I could not agree with you more. To get past the second layer for me, to get into the bigger move, I think this is going to target 265. If this inverse pattern plays, it'll get over this, I believe, 255, hold your 257, and then I think we're going to have a showdown back with this area, and this is why I like to have 6 different charts, Scotty, because we can show them all. We have a showdown with 265-ish, 268 maybe, and then we decide if it comes back down, if all of a sudden we end up in a bullish megaphone. That's going to be the real deciding factor, because then we'll have 3 of resistance, 3 of support. And if that's the case, if that's what we're trying to do, holy schmagolies, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. That move to $1.90, well, it would get us to that $1.77 to $1.82 probably. But we'll talk about that when we get there. If that happens, in my opinion, it's the most painful because you'd get this fake out going into early December. This would be the most bullish scenario for XRP, in my opinion. Most bullish scenario for XRP. I don't care what anybody says. I think this would be the single biggest freaking breakout that we could imagine for XRP if this scenario broke out. Because then you could have that, oh my God, you'd have so much pessimism. You think we'd have extreme fear right now? Oh my God, wait until that happens. When everybody's balls are tingling, Johnson's jiggling. Their eyes are watering, the balls are tingling, the Johnson's jiggling too. Remember the Christmas theme we're getting into? Well, it's not the end of it, but I don't know if I want to offend. You know, there's a lot of moms in the audience today, so, you know. Mind you, I created this when I was like 15, so, you know, it just kind of happened. But, anyhow, geez, I was going to buy more XCC, but bought more quant. Hey, you can buy whatever you want. This is just winning Wednesdays. Winning Wednesdays, you can win with whatever you want. You're a winner, remember? Winning Wednesdays. When everybody says, I can't buy any of this because it's all going down, I say, well, I think this is a good time to start buying something like Winning Wednesdays. Gives us time. We don't know how low it's going to go. I sent an earlier super chat. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I didn't even notice. Oh, somebody, I'm glad you said that too, because somebody said Crypto Dream sent a $5 super chat. No offense to my Buckeye. I'll get to you too, my friend. He's a very trusted mod. Mods, no, we have to wait. We have to wait. We got to take care of the crowd. After all, if we don't have a crowd, we don't have a job. Without a job, we don't have... Oh my God, and without a job, do we even exist in the Matrix? Crypto Dreams. Thank you for the $5 donation, and thanks for, let's see, he says, first spot ETF for expiry tomorrow on NASDAQ. Been a long time coming. Let's go XRPC. Yeah, that can give you mixed feelings for sure. Hopefully we'll have some upward volatility. We know past history after a initial move, a lot of things like to drop about 50% on average. Some more, some less. Some more, some less. But yeah, I'm very excited about it, to be honest with you. We've talked about XRPC, and it's definitely going to be part of our plan. We'll definitely have that chart ready to go. That'll make number 9 or 10 for the XRP separated charts. That'll be the 4th chart off the NASDAQ now we'll have to look at via XRP. We have XRPN, XRPNU, XRPNW. Now we're going to have XRPC. Am I in some kind of freaking matrix where XRP's everywhere? Now we're going to get paid a dividend through XRP. We're going to have a treasury through the XRP. And they said it's not going to happen. Maybe not all in crypto, but if you get a chunk of it everywhere and you understand what each segment is, I'm telling you what you're going to be starting to hear. And, you know, that's the sound of the cha-chings. You're also going to hear, you're going to need a train to carry all your stuff. You hear that? The train's loading up. You want to get it when it's like this. When it starts to go faster. This is when fuel comes out. Remember? You want to buy it here. When nobody cares. It's like a beaten drum. You don't want to do it when it starts picking up. Don't let the train pick up. You want to get it before it starts going. Nobody wants to get on. You ease on. You can, listen, you ease on an extreme fear. When the train starts going out of control, you got to run on. You don't even know if you're going to hit the train. People are throwing darts at that point. People are getting smashed off the side of the train. I should make an AI video of it. The crypto trader. You either hit the train or you get hit by the train. Get on or get crushed, basically. But that's just the truth. 1970 LUTs, I apologize. I got into the train somehow. I don't even know if I've ever done the train while I've ever been live. I'm not sure where it came from. But it's the train. 1970 Legend, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Also a very trusted mod, the defending champion as well. Michigan, we got one. And then the next year they announced, they put it back to back and they're number 1 in the playoff. Very trusted mod. Did I mention that? And also in Tom's Army for 1 year at the I Told You So badge. I have a feeling I'm going to have to buy him the back-to-back title belts. Unless somehow Michigan, we'll get into that later. Let's see. He says, which coin would you rather hold over the next 12 months? HBAR or XDC? Thanks. Typing in. A lot of the big guys like Mike Maloney talk about HBAR for some reason. More of the big wigs talk. I feel like XDC is undervalued. If you got me by the Scroteskis and the scrotum at the same time. But I will say this. It's not an apples to apples comparison in my mind because I remember two things. One, buying XDC at 2.9 cents, simultaneously buying HBAR at 4.1 cents. Right now, HBAR is over 17, which is almost a 4.25x, as to where XDC struggling for a 1x. I still think XDC is the better buy. Oh, that's scary. Now it's at 2.22% down. It's like the angels are guiding us in that answer. Isn't that kind of crazy that it's at that spot when we said that? It's almost creepy, isn't it? So I would say by the guiding hand of the angels, that just gave me the light at the end of the tunnel. I still think XDC, it's shining on it. It's shining brightly. Brightly. But, you know, I think you should have both. But, you know, what do I know? HBAR could blow it out of the water. I see XDC so freaking undervalued at the head of the R3. I just don't think a lot of people understand what that means. Unless you do your own research. I mean, this is one of those cases where you kind of got to go down the rabbit hole and see exactly what that implies. Gun to my head, I can live without HBAR. I can't live without XDC if that makes it any better. How about that? Gun to my head, you made me do it. If I had to let one go, hit it and quit it, I would quit HBAR. I would marry XDC, and I would live with the result because it's a beauty. If it never pans out to anything and HBAR ends up taking off, well, you know, we take our chances. But you still have to be solidified and happy and at peace with your answer. So yeah, that's what I would say. And thank you for the other $1.99 donation. Super chat, indeed. I did not forget. Ooh, I know a lot of people would say HBAR. That's the point. The general public loves HBAR compared to XDC. The general public, when you say XDC, they go, what the hell is that piece of shit? I'm telling you. I know because whenever I bring it up, people are like, that sounds like a pile of shit. It's been how low for how long? I told you, the X's are everything to me. I know what the 3 X's in each of the little spots that they hit. They'll have their day. They'll have their day. It doesn't just happen with XRP, but it definitely is fun when it started with XRP. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with your XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR quant. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Zulu or X, we better deliver on ETFs. We have had it with XRP. Remember, it was 384 in January 18. Bitcoin was 6,000. Go figure that one. I mean, yeah, you can talk about when it had that big rally. Sure. But that was because it was overhyped. There was just a big run. It didn't belong at $3.84. XRP's done exactly what it needs to. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Unless you bought it at 384 and 18 and didn't take any profit at any time, at any point along the way, and then do it. Everybody gets so mad at XRP. It doesn't deliver what? What? Does it owe you? It's not your daddy. It's an inanimate asset that you can try to play the proper way. It doesn't owe you shit. That's your emotion. It better do this. What if it goes up to $7? It's oh no. Oh, I swear to God. Like what? I mean, what does that even mean? I'm just curious. We get a lot of that in here, Mr. Warrior or Mrs. Warrior, Zulu. I don't know. But what does that even mean? That just sounds like an emotional driven response. I figure it out. Bitcoin's driving, I can figure it out for you at that time. And right now, even Bitcoin's driving better than 60% of the money flowing into crypto. I figured it out for you. There's been a lawsuit since 2020 that is finally finalized, at least in the seemingly finalized, because it's basically all ends are closed. That definitely has a hand in it. The way that we basically think about it, Bitcoin is the biggest Ponzi scheme known to man. It's worse than anything. Enron is like a gecko compared to this. You might remember the gecko on the commercials. That's what Bitcoin makes Enron conspiracy look like. It's like a freaking gecko. It's true. You know, when you look at crypto tokens and you're looking around, you're like, oh, that's a pile of crap. That's what the Enron looks like compared to what Bitcoin's going to make the world look like. Bitcoin is the single biggest Ponzi scheme. The whole point of it is for the U.S. government to entrap all these businesses and corporations, not just in the USA, but around the world, all these independent countries. Think about this. They're all taking leverage. They're all taking loans. The businesses are taking out common shares of their own company like MicroStrategies and just bankrupting the holders. And what does MicroStrategies do? And what does Michael Saylor and all these other people? Well, Tom, this is the question I get all the time. Tom, why does Michael Saylor only buy when Bitcoin goes up? Because it's the valuation. Think about it. If you take out a freaking loan from somebody and you buy an asset and it appreciates, and when they revalue it, all of a sudden, instead of it being at 102, it's at 113,000. You go back and you say, hey, remember when I had all this for 102,000? Well, now that asset's at 113, and now my actual valuation of what I am worth is X, Y, and Z. They're like, hey, this asshole's got a little more credit. Let him go fuck himself. So they'll give you a little more money. So then he goes and buys Bitcoin at 113. It goes to 101. He don't care then because he already got it out. But now the next time it goes to 125, he ain't saying, oh, let's do a valuation now when it goes down. But now you better believe he's going to go back to that same place as many times as he can if Bitcoin goes back up to 120 and 130. But that all ends, and this is what all these entities are doing. They're playing the devil's game, especially with their common shares for their company. They're literally putting out common shares into the market, which is just like putting the US dollar into the currency supply of the IOUs. But for the sense of this talk, the money supply in the USA, even though it's currency, but most still say it's money, so just. Oh, he's actually sleeping? Oh, okay. Beautiful. Okay. So that's just them depreciating the asset. So if you're a shareholder, the price is going down. And look at MicroStrategies, it's not doing well. And all these others. So I think the government's going to do that. They're going to pull the wall. And then eventually, remember, when it goes down, it doesn't appreciate anymore. Instead of getting the higher valuation, they call the loan. They say, hey, Mr. Saylor, all these companies, hey, guys, I know technically you haven't missed a payment. I know, I understand that you're up, but this volatility, we just can't. Yeah, you're getting too close. Now your average price is 74,000. And I'm sorry, but the price is at 90,000, 85. We got to call this loan. God forbid that happens. Oh my goodness. Hmm. But that's not going to happen yet, guys. That's the end game. And I believe it already shows us it in the Bitcoin dominance. End game, when all of this takes place, is when you see this. I'm telling you, it's the end game already. It's telling us when it happens. It's here. If it takes the entire time to lock everybody in, sometime in the summer of 2032, when this whole bearish pennant breaks down, this could be when all of that hits the fan. All of it. All of it. And you could get some major margin calls if this starts happening. Because in theory, if this happens, Bitcoin could be Bitcoin came down to like 15, 12,000 when it was right here. You're talking maybe you get a 30, 40, 50,000 Bitcoin. And it would be quick. It would be quick. It would be quick. I don't know if you're just trying to stir the pot, but yeah, it's in the card. Oh, are you guys? Oh, I thought you guys must be talking in the chat. Scotty Trades, thank you so much for that gifted sub. I really appreciate that. I went to a great person, Mike Contra. I hope you're watching somewhere in the abyss. Back in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Has been around since the very beginning, basically. Literally been around, I believe, since almost the very beginning. Thanks for that gifted sub, Scotty. I really appreciate that. MQ in the Telegram. Very trusted mod in here in the Telegram. Has his own section, goes very in depth for the community. I mean, very deep. But yeah, that's the Bitcoin conspiracy. But look at that. Even if it comes true and that all played out, you're talking about we've got 7 years to deal with this market. But I don't even think it comes to that. I think for me, probably have to exit stage left somewhere around 2029. I don't know when all that biometrics and all this is going to go into play, but that's when I exit. It's unfortunate. I'll still do all of this, but I believe that's when I would have to exit. I don't believe I'm not doing it, so I'd be forced out. Crypto could end up being the great equalizer. The world could end tomorrow. All what ifs, diversify. Yep. Listen, the one problem we talk about ISO compliant is I'm finding out there's a theory that you don't see in the mainstream, but you got to kind of go through the rabbit hole because of, and I believe XRP centralized and not necessarily decentralized. I really do believe that when I start looking at the way it's set up, and it doesn't. Just think about it; it's almost like a centralized controller. So I looked at things in that perspective. So there's a lot of disagreements when you start to actually look into deeper chains and the mechanisms and just the metrics and just the way things kind of run in the inner fold. That in theory, XRP is not technically an ISO token because it's something different that we don't have in the rest of the market. And I tend to agree with that. So this isn't a bad thing. This is actually something that would be big. Are you asking me, Mr. Trades, Scotty Trades, what I would hold instead of fiat? Oh, that's simple. I would, yeah, I would, honestly, I would be holding it in gold and silver. And then also if you understand the cycles and you get in and you can hold on throughout this up period, the mining stocks, but I mean obviously those there's opportunity when they're there, but I don't like necessarily to have a lot of like all of my money. I don't have a large amount that I just have sitting in fiat at any given time. It's always working. It's working. It's going into work. Because if it just sits there, it's gonna, you know, we got problems, unfortunately. So I act like I'm broke every single day because I don't have a lot of liquid cash. I mean, I can make it liquid, but I'm not going to. So it's just, you know what, Scotty, you're right, actually. There's a reason why you're right in something you said. The world could end for all we know. So, you're so right about that. But Shane, you got to be careful with land, though, if you don't understand it. Again, that's another case where if you have the cash, yes. But unlike what Robert Kiyosaki says, he's going to get you sprung between a barrel, a hard place, and your nuts in a vice, and with a nutcracker in between. Like, that's how bad it's going to hurt. Robert Kiyosaki will tell you to take out property and real estate and take out more equity against yourself. Don't do that. Remember, who are we slave to? Who are we a slave to? We're slave to the lender. We are, repeat after me. If you want that fancy car that you can't afford, that fancy house you can't afford, we are slave to the lender, which means we will work until the day we die if we keep taking out payments. Period. You see what they're doing right now? And I bring this up for a reason at the end of this live. A 50-year mortgage. 50 freaking years. 50. 8-year car loans. 50-year house. 50. Do you know how much interest you would have to pay over 50 years? You'd be paying interest for the first 30 freaking years on that house. It's unbelievable. You are slave to the lender, people. If there's one message I can push on you this evening, don't. Try to do things in cash. I know it's hard. It is. It is. But the best lesson I ever learned, and it was hard to implement year over year, day after day, month over month, second over second, but now as the decade went on, and now we're into a new decade, it definitely, the values laid when I turned 30 are so ever important now that I'm about to be 42. Like some will say, oh, you're lucky you were young when you made that decision. Well, now I'm 42. I'm glad I started thinking about that at 30. At 42, I still got time. If you're 42 and you're watching, you got plenty of time because in 10 years, you're only 52. Now, if you're 62 and you're watching, you got to get on the pedal, my friend. You got to get on the gas pedal. It's not too late. It's never too late. It's just, you got trouble, that's all. Mr. Hall, amen to that. House paid off, says car paid off. Yep. Yep, good for you. Juice, good for you. Never lease, always owns cars. That's great. Riles, making it a right and left again. No. That's how dumb your citizens are. Why do we inflect it on the president? The president, they can only do what we're asking for. Remember that. We're asking. We're begging. Oh, Mr. Trump, give us a 50-year lease so it's only $300 a month on our mortgage. No, that's an indictment on the people, my friend. You really think Trump sat there and said, oh, let's do a 50-year? Do you think this is the central bank's idea to put us further into the debt? Slave to the lender. Do I have to make a song? Stop blaming the sitting presidents. I mean, seriously, what do I got to say? Do I got to come on here with my nipples out or something? Do I got to come out here with my chest hair sticking out? Do I got to... I mean, seriously, what do I got to do here? What do I mean to do? Do I gotta get an OnlyFans page and have my jangles and jangles, the Groteskies bouncing around saying, this is the Democratic side and this is the Republican side. You're both sides of my nutsack. Is that what I gotta do? Because obviously the devil's horns aren't working, being both sides of the devil's side of the face, of the horns. Basically, if you're Republican or Democrat, you're either side of my nutsack. How about that? Is that a better way of putting it? Like, is that more clear and visual? Come on now. It's not the president. It's not the... Yeah, and now look, you're biased. Oh, it's Mr. Trump. It's President Trump. It has nothing to do with the central bank or the fact we're asking for it. It's all that son of a bitch Trump. But now, so I'm assuming you're a Democrat. So if Biden came on here, Mr. Biden, we're all broke. Hey, my friend, Mr. Riles, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, buddy. We're going to put a 50-year mortgage out there so you, my friend, and your family can afford a house. Oh, Mr. Biden, let me get down and suck your nuts. That sounds fan-frickin-tastic. Mr. Riles says, I am not a Democrat either. Okay. So he gets up and squeezes his nuts and say, I don't appreciate it, Mr. Biden. So who the hell are you, Mr. Riles? Huh? I'm just saying, that's the point. You got to look deeper. See, you seem like a good man, good person, good entity. I don't know, for good part of this matrix. You don't think the central banks put this into play? You really think it was... You give Trump too much credit. I think. He's just a talking point. Come on, man. Don't you guys realize they make everybody hate Trump? Listen, it's so perfect. They act like the whole country's falling apart when he's in there the first time. The media's having a meltdown, yada, yada, yada. And then everybody starts to have this weird, just this weird psychotic break where all of a sudden we have this big movement of, men allowed into going to the female stuff and nobody cares about their kids. They just let everybody with penises go. Nobody cares. Say, hey, I mean, that's the human nature. If he wants to, whatever. So then we get into this weird time period now that we're in that all of a sudden we vote socialism in to say the hell with Trump. The hell with Trump. We're going to get a communist in here. Like, don't you see what they did? Honestly, do you see what they did? They use our emotions on us so we vote socialist then voluntarily. Hey guys, obviously bringing in the CASA is the answer. Insert Dearborn, Michigan, insert New York, insert California, insert all of these other debacles that are starting to happen. Hey, but that's okay because fuck Trump. Let's vote in the CASA. Makes a lot of sense. We're all going to be sitting here castrated and we're going to say, you know what? We're all fucking idiots. We are all idiots. And you know what's going to suck for some of us? I can't judge this. Nobody can. Not me, not you, not nobody on this earth. Only God can judge the purity of your heart, period. And I have a strong feeling that a lot of people aren't going to pass that test. They're just not going to pass that test. Call it instinct, call it whatever. So, but yeah, I'm going to leave it at that before I get kicked off of this very channel. Just think about all of this. Think about all of this, please. There's so much stuff going on. It's so much stuff. So we have to be on top of this. We've got to hit this right at every single angle. You have no idea. We can't miss this for a second. We cannot miss on any of this. Our lives depend on it. Our livelihood. We're either going to be a slave to the lender or the lender is going to be a slave to us. And that just means, you're going to have to be right. And that doesn't mean just finances, that mind, body, and most importantly, soul. Because we are coming into something that we don't even acknowledge, recognize, yada, yada, yada. It's getting there. So inverse head and shoulder until it's not. As long as 231 holds, pretty nice. Get the validation over the top at around 239.4 if we can hold. And then play it smart. Be smart. We'll touch base later, but be smart, be wise, be charitable, and thank your Lord and Savior Yahweh and Yeshua for giving you this chance, and God himself for giving you the